and welcome to the Honest Property Podcast with your hosts, Rebecca and Ruth. And we like to talk about all things business, entrepreneurship, and property. So today we have Zoe McKenna, who is an ADHD business coach. And we actually know her from so Zoe. I would hear her voice all the time in the background because my partner was her videographer. And she had she has a very successful YouTube channel. And that's when I would overhear her conversations and be like, "This is really interesting." And a podcast as well. Very interesting podcast. So give it a listen. We'll put it in the show notes. You most, if not all of your content is, especially recently, is about operating as an entrepreneur, a female empowered entrepreneur, isn't it? And we felt like we really resonated with everything that you're saying. Yeah, I couldn't relate even more.
Yeah, I've just recently I always kind of knew my brain was a little bit different, but I actually only found out that it was ADHD maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I just used to think that everyone thought like me, and it's quite funny. I was actually having a conversation with my husband yesterday. We were just sitting on the couch, and it was like just trying to be like present with me, and it just got back from being in England, and then he was like just wanted to like cozy up and spend time together, and I was just like, there's just like a million things that I need to do in my head. I was like, do you not just like have a million things like going around in your head? And he was like, no, I'm just enjoying this time and being present. And I'm like, it's so hard. I just thought like everyone always had a brain that was just like chatter all the time, but not everyone does. So it has its benefits, and it's kind of up and down, but that's when I realized I was a little bit different.
Yeah. I'm like, I can so relate because I'll just be sitting next to Tristan. He'll just want to chill out. And then he struggles to get me to sit down because I'm like, well, I have so many things to do that I've made for myself. And I don't understand how other people are like, I don't have anything to do today. And I'm like, how? There's so many productive to do.
Yeah.
Or with my husband, I'm not. He's like, be in the room. Be in the room. My mind's thinking about the next thing.
Yeah. I think it goes hand in hand with entrepreneurship as well, or having your own business, because you're always on when you have a business. It's really difficult to. It's definitely something that I've worked on over the years, but I think whether you have ADHD or don't have ADHD, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, like there's always something to think about. There's always something to do. But yeah, I don't understand when people have nothing to do. It's really. I'm just saying, like.
I'd love to take it back to how it all began, because you've done several business things, several things, and I think like you've done such amazing, fascinating businesses. Would you be able to start from the beginning?
Yeah, so it's such a long story now, because I've been in business for, I think, 14, 13 years or something like that, which is crazy to think, because I remember when I first started my business and I was like, this is just going to take forever, like, to get anywhere. I'm never going to get clients. I'm never going to, like, build up. Like, and I used to look at other business owners and feel, like, envy of, like, they've been doing it for so long and they're doing so well. But I kind of started by accident, really. So I've worked since I was 13 years old in just normal jobs. I've done a lot of waitressing and bar work. I went to college, and I was always doing like 3 or 4 things at once. Like I've always been doing. Like if I've been studying full time, I would have 3 jobs at the side. Like, and then that's not even exaggeration. And genuinely to have like 3 jobs at the side. And I just love work, and like I love being active. I love doing things. So I had a lot of jobs, and then I really wanted to do. So I did hairdressing for a short while, like just to get out of school. Basically, I really hated school. And it was like, I was 15 years old, and they were like, if you go into a college course, you can get out of school. So I was like, okay, I'll do something practical.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so. I think for as well, if you've got this type of mind, like sitting down at school is really hard.
Yeah, oh my
really
God,
hard.
I can relate. I looked out the window and daydreamed a lot of the time.
Yeah, so you want to be active, you want to be doing things. So I think that's why waitressing was really good for me, because it was so fast paced, and it was like you're always doing a few things at once. So I actually really enjoyed that job, and it was good money because you get tips and things like that. And I've always been kind of quite driven by money from a young age. So I just feel like when I started to realize, like, when I had money and had more freedom, that's when I kind of got the bug for like wanting to work for myself. But I never really thought about that because there's no one in my family that has a business, or I don't know anything about
Wow,
entrepreneurship.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't. There's no one, and there's no one in my family with money. Like, we came from like a very like like a council estate, like the whole like, yeah, we had like no money at all, like when I was growing up. So um it was it's not like I had anyone in the family to kind of learn from. But
mm,
I just always had that mindset of, I don't know, I just always like really liked freedom. I really liked to do my own thing, and I hated people tell me what to do. And that's what happened when I was working in these jobs. It was like you'd get those specific micromanagers that kind of just like are on your back for no reason, just because like they're a manager. And I was like, I can't work like this. Like, I couldn't take that. I don't know if it's even criticism, but I was very sensitive because obviously with ADHD as well, there's something called like um rejection sensitivity. So you get that kind of really, really sensitive towards rejection. And even if it's not even rejection, it was just like someone telling me what to do or saying I'm doing something wrong. It was very hard for me to kind of deal with.
I can relate. I mean, we're both very bad at criticism, but it helps when you've got a sister that you're in business with and just
You
know.
get less sensitive
Yeah.
because they're too close already. But Phil, Ruth will be like, I don't agree, even in the slightest. And if it's a bad day, I'll be like, how dare you?
Yeah, the good thing though is if it's your sister, like
Yeah.
you kind of get away with it more and you can kind
Yeah.
of talk back to them. Whereas or you can say something back, like that's really frustrating. I've got a sister and my younger sister's like that. I can like, I'll just argue with her and then you'll be friends again later. So it's fine.
Mm,
But if it's something random, then it's really hard to kind of like just say, because then that could ruin your relationship, you know, like
yeah.
if you're taking it in a bad way and then you react to that in a bad way. So yeah, basically I've done all that. I moved out to Liverpool for like 4 years, I went to acting school for a bit while I was doing all of this. And
Wow.
then yeah, I know, I was like, I was always interested in like
That's so
performing art.
creative.
Yeah, just some creative arts. I've always been, I'm not artistic, I can't draw, but I'm very visually creative. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of like where my kind of creative side comes. So I've always been into like dance and like that kind of um I'm trained as a makeup artist, so like that was kind of another visual creative for me. So I had to move home because my mum actually got ill, and she ended up having cancer, and then it ended up spreading like to her brain, and then yeah, it all kind of happened fast. But she passed away, and I was actually 5 months pregnant at this point.
Oh my God.
So I know it's really, yeah. This was obviously like 12 years ago now. Because my oldest daughter is 12, and I was pregnant with her. So I was like back in Edinburgh now, away from the place that I was loving. Like my mom had just died, and then I'd also just given birth, and I had no job, and we had no money because 2010 was like the recession period. So my husband, which was obviously, we'd only been together like under a year at the time, or maybe over a year. Yeah, over a year at the time. And like he was an electrician, and like there was no jobs. So we had like back to having no money at all and all of this. And I was just like, how am I going to like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to make money? And then I was like, I'm not working a job again. So I was like, what skills have I got? I was like, I can do hair extensions because I was doing that on the side down in Liverpool. I was quite good at makeup, but just through practice on YouTube and kind of from a dance career. And then I'd done like a spray tan course. So I was like, I've got a few skills in like beauty and hair. So I was like, maybe I should just open a salon. So I just done research for a few months, managed to get funding from the Princess Trust, like went to a panel and just got like £5,000 from them. And then I was like, got a lease. I didn't know anything about a lease I just signed it, and I was like, that's fine, that'll do. I had no plans.
Love that.
I know, I was so crazy. Like at the time, I was at that point where I was like, who cares? Like, got
Like, what
nothing
you
to
got to
lose.
lose?
Yeah, I was like, there's nothing bad that can happen that's worse than this. So like,
Yeah.
so then, yeah, that's what I did. I just opened the salon, and it just had to make it work. Like I've had it for 10 years. I've just sold it this year, but I managed to kind of build that salon up over years, like years and years. And managed to move into a bigger salon, like 3 times the size, managed to purchase that salon. So now I have property. So that's the only property I have, but
Wow.
I own the property.
I think I like that.
I feel like I've skipped loads about that. It's a kind of condensed
That was a
version of
jump,
it.
yeah.
That's so funny.
So
Sorry.
wait, you became the owner of the property?
Yeah, so I bought the property. I don't even know how I managed to do that, but like,
I love this story.
Because it feels so
Yeah.
it was like,
Yeah.
just go for it.
Yeah.
It might work out.
Well,
It usually does.
it feels
It did.
relatable because we've taken so many risks and just gone, I don't know, like
Figure it out.
figure it out as you go
Yeah.
along.
yeah, people think like entrepreneurs, and I definitely thought this for so long, that everyone kind of knows something that I don't. And it was like, I think everybody is literally winging it. And even the ones that are at the top, they still probably don't have a clue what they've done or how they've got there. It just kind of happens over time. And you just keep going and keep going. And I think what I try and say is, like, the main part of the reason why that happened and why I could do that was because of the stuff I did personally, like for my own health and my own like growth within self-development within me. It was nothing to do with specific business strategies. Like, yeah, I would learn things. I'm quite a good researcher. I'll use YouTube for everything because I hate reading like long bits of text. So I will literally go on YouTube for every bit of information. That's why I love YouTube so much, because like all my knowledge just came from YouTube. I've
It's like
done
a free
courses and I've had
university.
mentors and all that, but yeah, it's good. You can just type in one specific, because it's a search engine. You just type in one specific problem you have, they'll explain it to you, and then you now have that knowledge. I just think it's brilliant.
Yeah, we agree. When YouTube first came out, we were so hooked on all the makeup tutorials
Yeah,
that we got really good.
that's
at
where I learned to be a
makeup.
makeup artist from there.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were going on nights out and doing other people's makeup because we were the ones that knew how to do it.
I mean,
Yeah,
we
it's
were
so good.
Now we don't wear it so much anymore.
Yeah, I'm the same.
learned so much.
So
Yeah,
what was
it's
the
just
next? What was the next part of your business venture?
So after kind of probably a few years back, I've been doing YouTube just as a side hustle kind of for about 8 years. I was making makeup videos. That was my first videos, was makeup videos. And then I was like, I don't really wear makeup every day, so it's quite hard to like do tutorials on makeup. So I just played around with content. I was just really, really enjoying like the whole process of filming and editing and learning, because obviously you're constantly learning when it comes to YouTube, because there's always something that you need to learn. So I was doing that, and it's just really like in this process I had 3 kids. So like during that 10 years, I obviously had the first one, and then I had the second one, and then COVID, I had the third one. So yeah, in this process of building the business and building myself, I was also having kids, and I was like the main person, that because my husband works a lot, so there is like me that was there for the mornings and the pickups and like everything basically. So I was trying to manage the business. Luckily, I managed to grow it to a point where I didn't have to work in it. So it was that I had a team, and then I could just go in on a Saturday and do makeup. So it got to a peak, and it was like really doing well. Like there was a full team of staff. You know, it looked good on paper. I was making over 6 figures. I mean, not very much profit, but yeah, there was like in that type of business, because we've got so many outgoings and the building and everything, but it was paying my mortgage. Yeah, it was I built a huge brand. Like it was fully booked clients. You know, I went from 0 clients to fully booked clients. I got all the staff like booked up basically. And then I lost the passion. And then I think obviously I wasn't going more, and I wasn't going more, and then I was dreading going in at one point, and I was like, I really wanted to do my content, and this time I'd trained to be a life coach. I'd certified in human design, and I was doing a lot of business courses. Yeah, human design is so good, especially for like self-discovery and understanding. What do you know what your human design are? What are you?
I am a generator 6-2.
Are you?
Generator 4-6.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm in my granny phase right now.
Yes. They've both got the sex role models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you?
I'm a projector. C1.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One,
We're normal.
you're normal.
With people
I'm
with
not.
generators.
Projector and ADHD goes quite hand in hand. There's a lot of like traits that are in the same as that, but I'm definitely a projector. But I mean, I definitely don't have a lot of energy. You know, the generators have a lot more energy. Like I
Yeah.
really struggle to do like more than 4 hours or 5 hours of
And then
work.
you burn out.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I have to then go and do something for myself.
Our
Like,
issue is that we just don't stop.
yeah.
Just don't stop at all until burnout.
Yeah. Well, that's good for a generator because you really have to like get all that energy out, and then
Mm.
you know, as long as you maybe take a little bit of time at night, like before bed or whatever, to switch off. But generators are allowed to kind of keep going a little bit more. But yeah. Anyway,
wish
I
we
love doing
didn't.
that. Yeah, it's great. Like doing the human design, I learn about other people because obviously I'm really interested in like psychology and learning about other people. That's why I did that life coaching and human design, and just not even just like obviously learning about other people, how I could interact with other people, but then I went on a whole discovery journey of myself, and that's kind of where I came across finding out about my ADHD. And you know, when I went to acting school, like way back at the start, we did archetypes, and I really loved that part of it because it was like archetypes is basically telling you like it's probably similar to human design, but just a different concept. And so I'm so interested in people like me learning about myself, but also learning about how different other people are. And
Yeah. So important.
yeah, and as well as a manager and a leader, like you have to know how other people react and how they learn and how they like I'd went through like quite a few different staff, and I really was shocked like at how some people were. Like I was just like I think I lived in a bubble for so long that I just thought everyone was like really honest because like I was really honest and um authentic, but then I started coming across narcissists and other types of people, and I was like, no, like how do people live like that? And it was just an eye opener. There is a lot of like different types of people out there, and
Yeah. You know what I love about this
Yeah.
conversation because I feel like we've gone through this whole psychological
Journey.
journey as well and can really relate to what you're saying, especially I think sometimes when you're the business owner and we're co-business owners, you can have a little bit of a perfectionist attitude with the people that work for you. Like that's just our ego talking. And then by knowing how all people are or how they act in the world gives you a lot more empathy for people. And I think, yeah, that's kind of been a revelation in being able to see that like no one is perfect and that everyone
You don't see things the same way you see things.
or learn the same way.
Yeah.
So that's
it's good for relationships, even whether it's within work or out of work. It really definitely helped me in my personal relationships as well, because I think if you start to understand, and I done my human design on all my family to understand them a little bit more, and obviously for my kids' relationship as well. It's easier when you understand someone because then, like even I've got 3 girls and they're all so different. All their human designs are manifesting generators, but because they have different parts of their energy centers, you know, filled in and not like so basically have different parts of your So it really makes sense for them, like whether like how their personalities are, even though they're that because that's just your energy type. So it's really good to know, how their ideas come through, how they make decisions, and just to realize like I can't speak to that child the same way as I speak to the other child, and they do need different things. And it's not favoritism or it's not like just you being different. It's because, and I think that should be the same for everyone, like whether you have staff, whether you have a partner. Like, I think if you can learn about how they react, like your relationships can be so much stronger.
the strengths and weaknesses that everyone has, and then you can create a better ecosystem.
Yeah, definitely. I think like it's so, like for me and my husband as well, like also we've been together a long time now, it's 14 years. So we went through so many cycles of ourselves. And at first it was just like really hard to, as well, him living with me with ADHD, like he just thinks that's just who I am. Like he's not very, he doesn't really like labels or anything. So it's just like that. It's just who you are. Like that's just how you've always been. And then like the way he is, like he's very organized and structured and just, but not like OCD, but kind of like those traits, like the opposite of what I'm like. So it's quite hard. It's better when I understand like that is what he's like. And then also I'm better in the morning and he's better in the evening. So when he's grumpy in the morning, it's easier for me to be like, oh yeah, he's not really a morning person. And he's like, this is why he's getting frustrated, because he's tired and all of that. And vice versa.
I love that.
What about your matcha? I swear you're missing out.
Yeah, sorry, I've not got to that for it. I feel like we need like a 5-hour episode for this. Yeah, so sorry. So a year ago, just a year and a half ago, I opened this matcha bar, which is kind of where I am now. So it's a matcha bar and it's a wellness studio. So I have the podcast studio, I have someone that does massages, someone that does counseling. The vision was that I've always drank matcha for, well, let's say always like 5-6 years now. And it really helped me with my gut health issues. I had a lot of gut health issues like leaky gut, candida overgrowth, IBS, like all of the inflammatory gut issues, which really affected my mood. I was irritated, I was angry, I had brain fog, I had memory loss, like all of this was happening. And I was like in pain a lot with it. And maybe me, I went into like research mode, and I don't really like taking medication. So like the doctor just kept trying to give me medication and omeprazole and all of these like blockers for the acid. And I was like, but why is it happening? Like, why is this
What's the
happening?
root cause?
Yeah. And so I just went on a whole gut health research journey, figured out again on YouTube. I found this guy, Dr. Josh Axe, I think his name was, and he was brilliant. Like he was all about like healing the gut, and I just went on this whole rabbit hole of learning about that. So anyway, I don't know how, I think someone on YouTube that I watched drank matcha. So then I started drinking matcha, really started to help my stomach in the morning. I felt energized. I felt awake. Like I can't really take caffeine. So like it used to irritate me a lot. And I was like, I really need energy somehow, but I can't really have coffee. So yeah, matcha helped me so much. And then I was like, there's nowhere in Edinburgh like that does matcha. I was like, why do they not sell matcha here anywhere? And I was like, it's just so frustrating because like obviously I would make it at home, but if I was out, I could never get it anywhere. And yeah, so I always kind of thought, oh, it'd be great to have a little matcha bar. And I created a business plan. Like one of my days that I was just like off on a tangent somewhere, and I just was like, I'm just going to create a business plan, because I was quite good at creating business plans. Like I had to do it a lot for like the business pitches and everything to get the funding and to get the mortgage. And I created the business plan, like named it, done all of that. And then I was like going to buy the shop next to my salon because it was up for sale. And then just as I got agreed on the mortgage, I got agreed like to buy that as well. The guy that was selling it said he'd sold it to somebody else. So I was like gutted. So I was like, oh well, I'll just leave that. And I never bothered looking for anywhere else because I was just like, that would have been perfect because it was right there. And I wasn't really actively looking. I just said to him, if you ever sell it, let me know. So I had the business plan there for like a year. And then obviously this passion was dwindling in the salon, and I was like, I really want to do my content. And I came to this place for skin treatments. And it was so nice. Like they'd done it all up really, really nice. Like they just refurbished it all. And I was like, this is such a nice building. Like, and I thought in my head, like, I think I would have this building one day. And I just kind of like, I have these thoughts all the time. Like, so I was just like thinking, yeah, like I think I can see myself here. And then I came for my treatment, and I was quite friendly with the girl, and she was like, I'm moving back to Sweden. I'm getting rid of this place. I'm gonna put it up. And I was like, don't put it up for sale. I was like, there's a way. And then, yeah, that's when my head started spinning again. I was like, I need to have that. Like, I need to get that shop. Like, that would be perfect. I could have a matcha bar at the front. I sell the matcha, help people, because I was really passionate about helping people with their gut health. Like, that was really, like, I was just like, people just don't know, like, their gut is causing all of these issues. And I was like, I just don't know how people don't know this yet. And I'm like, I really need to, like, start helping people with that. So, yeah, anyway, within 6 weeks, I had the shop.
You
Like, I
bought
had the
it.
shop. I never bought it. I'm just leasing it.
Leasing it.
So,
Wow.
yeah, within 6 weeks, I transferred it all over. I'd done an assignation of the lease over to me. I'd done the refurb of it because I had just the front area. Obviously, I had to build out my own matcha kind of vibe. I wanted like the ballet vibe, so I designed it all myself. And then I sourced like a joiner to create the vision of what I wanted and made all the kind of bespoke. I had like I had a vision of this circle, kind of wooden. You'll probably see it if you go on the matcha page.
yeah, by
It's
the
like
way,
a circle
go-
wooden thing.
go
Yeah,
on the Instagram
at the
post,
front
stunning.
window. Yeah, I just like, and then all the nice like pampas flowers and like the kind of neutral vibes. Yeah, so I love that. Like, I love the whole process of building something out, but then when I get it done, I get bored. So that's that's what I'm working on. But no, anyway, it's been great, and I've had so many opportunities. I do loads of events. I got a matcha cart, so I go out to wellness events like hotels, done festivals, so many events with the matcha.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it is, and I meet so many good people, and yeah, and I have the studio, so now I do my in-person podcast here. I have a little office as well.
I love it. So you've created a space from just that one lease. You've created multiple space like usage of that same building. That's really smart.
Yeah, it's been like, I suppose it's like the dream, like, of what I wanted and what I visioned. It's quite hard though. I think it's funny when you have this mind, you have all these ideas, because it's like you have this vision and you want to create all these things, but then when that vision comes to life, you then feel like there needs to be something else. So it's quite hard to kind of just enjoy that. Like, wow. And
Like,
I do
what's next?
reflect.
What's the next?
Yeah. It's like, and I've realized that's why like YouTube and content is good for me, because it's low risk. There's no, huge risk in it for me. Like, you're not losing money. There's no bills to pay. I still get to create, but I get to do that whole business venture for every video. Like, I get to start by researching it, looking at the title, looking at the thumbnail, writing out the script, going out and filming, and then creating the video. You get that. It's kind of like a business in one video.
Yeah.
So I think for me, what I've reflected and realized over the last year is that's where I want to go, like do more full-time content. As well as obviously having this. This is quite a good business though, because it's quite low maintenance. It's not like, I don't serve food or anything. It's just matcha and wellness drinks, so it's quite easy to manage. I do have one staff member, so yeah, I just think like it's quite good to go through the trial and error, because then you realize more about yourself, more about how you are, and then you can kind of go down the path that you feel is right for you, and I think that's important.
I think it can be quite. Oh, sorry, Becky. You could go.
I have a lot of thoughts. But firstly, you're basically doing commercial property, which in our industry is like, our own personal goal actually is to get into commercial property, not just residential, but with commercial things like what you're doing, you have got spaces and split them up into lots of different things, and you can be extra creative with that kind of business. But then you're renting it out, you're allowing other people to use it, which isn't exchanging your time for money so much, but then it's allowing you to pursue businesses or projects or passions that you like, whether it's your matcha or your creative projects with YouTube or your podcasts. Actually, I swear you rent out your podcast studio as well.
Yeah, actually, it's not just as someone asked.
You're like a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And your setup is just, I know it feels like we're project addicted people, but in hindsight, once you've set them up, you've now got a diversified streams of income coming in, which turns out to be more reliable than just relying on the one. So It is a
Yeah.
blessing, I think.
I
Yeah.
think like you'll have to like teach me about commercial property because I'm just kind of winging it.
You
Yeah,
really need it.
I'm doing it, but I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm just
Yeah, well, you're learning on the go.
planning on buying this. Like that's the goal is to buy this property as well, and then I'll have two
Mm.
properties. So
We'll have to talk about lease options then.
yeah,
Yeah, we can get into. I'll send you a message after.
yeah,
Look into lease. I think you'll like it because it's really a creative way of purchasing property that
You
you don't own.
you don't buy it right now, but you buy it later down the line. You just have an agreement in place that says you're going to buy it at
Oh,
the
good.
asking price now, not later. So there's like, we can send you some information about that.
Yes, definitely. I need that because my landlord's not the best to deal with.
Yeah, actually, properties are really like, we thought it was going to be really boring. We were like, oh, this is going to be, stocks and shares or property are the ways you make money. But we just did property because we were like, it sounds a little less boring than stocks and shares at the time. But once you get into it, it's actually
Really creative.
and really fun.
And it went really well hand in hand with a passion business that we wanted to do as well. So you never get bored. So we never got bored at all doing both.
But just on like, there are actually so many ways you can approach property. We did fall into the trap of like being like, oh, we could do it all. We could do this, this, and this. But then that also, on the flip side, isn't a good thing because it's like you said, it's a riskier game to play if your heart's not in it. And we were sucked into rent. It's called rent to rent,
which is a business model, and realized our heart wasn't there. So I can really relate with your experiences of just wanting to simplify, but like continue to do stuff that you really enjoy, but simplify it. And I think the biggest lesson we learned was systemizing as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that really, it's so funny. I was saying about like, I think, I don't know if I said it on the podcast or we said this before we got on, but I was talking about finding someone that, I'm creating this course, but it's for it's a course that I wish that was there. So I've had a lot of mentors and done courses and things, but I found a huge gap in for ADHD brains or people that think this way, because all these courses and a lot of the coaches work with neurotypical people or people that work in a general way. Whereas again, everyone with ADHD, whether they have it or not, or just kind of this more scattered brain, is different as well, different personalities within that as well. For the way that I worked, I really struggled. I was even thinking this morning, trying to find a mentor that was going to be able to help me with the things that I need help with, and I couldn't find anybody because I was like, it's so hard to find someone that knows a lot about YouTube, really is knowledgeable on YouTube, also either has ADHD or knows how to work with people with that type of way of thinking and fast pacedness and keeping them on track. And someone that's done it themselves, or maybe kind of got to that point, and it's gonna be able to keep me on track. It's going to be okay with being very firm with me, because obviously if you're paying someone, they're going to be a bit nicer to you, or maybe a bit more lenient with you when you tell them things. Whereas I need somebody that is going to be no, you're not doing that thing. We're doing this thing. So anyway, I just thought I'd share this good little tip.
Yes.
So I ended up going on to ChatGPT, and I just spent half an hour with ChatGPT, and I just said, you need to be my mentor. This is how I am. And I think you need a lot of self-awareness and a lot of knowledge to be able to do this. But I was told him everything. This is what happens. I'm getting sidetracked with this. I need to focus on this. This is what my goal is in the next 60 days. This is what I really need to achieve. I need you to be with me every single day, to keep me on track, to give me my tasks, to work towards this goal. If I try and go off track or try and do something, don't let me do it. So I had this conversation for a bit, explaining everything, and then help me work through, this is the goal. I was like, I also have written a book, but I'm not finished the book. I was like, what do you think I should do? Should I leave the book just now? And they were like, yeah, I think you should leave the book till we've launched the new YouTube, and we've launched basically the plan that I was saying. And anyway, it came back with like a real structure that when you were talking about like having like it systemized, a complete systemized flow for me of everything with timescales and dates. And then I was like, okay, like this feels a bit overwhelming for me. Like I just need you to tell me what I need to do today. And then it gave me my task for the day with the timestamps. And then I put timers on. So I just put the time because I don't know why, but I just work so well with timers.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. Like it just works for my brain so well. So I had the timer on and it gave me the time for each task. And I just got everything done like that I had to do. It told me exactly where I needed to start with like getting towards this project, towards this goal. It's brilliant. So good.
that's so smart. Prompt. Maybe we could share it to
Yeah, I
like.
could send you what I said. I mean, it's probably like a load of blabber what I was saying, but I'll send you what I wrote.
Yeah, I'm like curious as well for myself, selfishly, like what
Yeah.
it's gonna say. I
Yeah,
know.
I'll tell you what my first paragraph was that I wrote.
Yeah,
Obviously, you probably have to insert your own goals and things, but like,
yeah,
what I kind of asked, I just like, it's quite weird. Like, I feel like I can speak to ChatGPT as if it's like person because you can kind of like, I mean, I just feel like I need to get a lot out. I'm self-projected as a human and like as my authority type. So like self-projected projector. So I need to speak it out and I need some reflection back. So
yeah.
I can ask then further down the line because it saves your memory. Like I can see like, remember, like this is what we talked about. Like, can you like remind me of something or like, what was that idea? So I don't feel like my mind's scattered. It's all in the one thread. And
Yeah,
I'm just like, whenever I ask, I'm just like, can you remind me of like those ideas that I had? And I wrote like, because the first 30 minutes, I was like, I need to like feel my body first. So I need to make sure I've had like breakfast. So it allocated me 30 minutes for breakfast. So I'd made like myself some like protein pancakes and some matcha. And then after, I still had like 5 minutes. So I was like, I wrote back on it. I was like, this is what I had for breakfast, just in case I forget some of the healthy meals that I make. So you can remind me if I get stuck further down the line. So
Well,
yeah,
it's like
I think it's
personal.
good.
It's like also a personal assistant, isn't it? And I think with ChatGPT, some people love it, some people don't. We love it because it does help build that. It does help to build, the structure that maybe it's hard, it's easy to forget. And it's very straight to the point. It's very efficient at just getting straight to the point.
I really love how when there's so many different aspects of the business, like you said, or like so many different aspects, of so many things that come to mind, and I'll pop it in there, and then I'll go to something else, and then I need to readdress that thought again, but I've forgotten what it was, and the plan for that previous thought is already there to refer to and look back on, because I have a million thoughts. I also like writing things down a lot, but having ChatGPT means it's recorded and you can just search stuff, which is really
because
really
I've got like, if you're like me, I have so many. Like I have books, journals. I have one in my bag. I have one down here. I have one next to my bed. And my notes app is just crazy. Like it's got folders, but there's so many. I'm like, it's just everywhere. And I'm like, I just need one place because now I don't know where to put everything or where that idea was. Or I think I've wrote out my YouTube titles and scripts like over and over because I keep forgetting I've already done it. And then I'm like,
Systemizing, simplifying, isn't it? Simplifying without using so many different tools.
I think it can be overwhelming. There's just like 1,000,001 apps out there, but perhaps ChatGPT is just so like well wrapped, like can just do so much.
I think people think they need to use it for like I wouldn't use it for content. I mean, some people will, but I don't really feel like it's very. Content should be you. You know, content should be personal, unless you're kind of just teaching specific steps or something. But if you're creating a personal brand, it's not very personal if they're creating the content. I think it's good for structuring or ideas or formatting or like, you know, putting your strategy together. But if you give it that, you can't just be like, you know, give me a plan today, but there's no goal of what for. Like, I think it's just better for organization. And formatting and all of that. But yeah, you were saying about simplifying. The new YouTube channel that I've started is actually called Simple Rich Life. And it's all about simplifying. Like, because this whole year was like a bit of a chaotic year, a very financially bad year after like it got like all that happened with the business and I came out of it, it kind of went downhill. So, and obviously built this, used all the savings and everything like that. It kind of was a bit of a dip and a bit of a like crisis year. So what I had to do was like simplify everything and I was like, I need to get back to basics. And I got rid of my car. I used to have like a Land Rover. I had a really expensive gym membership. I just like had loads of direct debits and subscriptions and things like that. And I just literally got rid of everything and just I just simplified to almost like as much as I could basically. Got like a little car. I just bought like a little car outright, so I don't have a monthly payment. It's just like a little Fiat 500. It's just a small little car, but I actually love it. Just like going around and the feeling of knowing that I don't have like huge payment every month, you know, for a car. And just like, and the gym, I just went to like my little gym next to me that's £20 a month and it does the job of what I need. Like, and I just realized like, and it's not just the finances, I simplified a lot of other things, like things I was doing and like my daily routines and just kind of like, my habits and things that I just went back to the drawing board of like, what is it? Like I actually wrote this all out and I just wrote, what is it that actually like makes me feel good and makes me happy and what do I actually want to do? Like I don't need like to be doing a million things. I don't need to be like, there's only a couple of things that make me happy. It's like obviously growing myself and my business, being with my kids, my family. Like I'm very family oriented, so I love being with the kids and my husband. We always do everything together. And then like obviously health is such a huge part. And then two things for myself that I love is getting a massage every single month and like I like getting a skin peel or like a facial. So I like, as long as I can get all that, like I'm quite happy. Like I don't need to be going out all the time, doing loads of things. Like I'll have maybe a glass of wine at the weekend, that's it. But yeah, I'm quite easily pleased.
I love that. I feel like everything you've just said, Becky and I, we've spent a whole year of simplifying and going, what is it that truly sparks joy? And we did a lot of culling, subscriptions, lots of things, just simplified so much. And just like everything that you have just said has like reminded me of the whole process we went through, business, personally, and going, why are we doing this? Why are we making things so complicated? It's surely trying to add more onto our plates is not filling us up. It's actually draining us. So why the heck are we doing it? And it's quite a big reason why we started the Honest Property Sisters, because we just didn't want to keep trying to
keep up with the flashiness that's always out there. And it's like, what the reason your business or your investing goals are for you to enjoy the simple things that give you
joy.
So it's so easy to get stuck in a trap of feeling like you need to do more of this, more of that, and
you need to own this, you need to own that.
Like I rent where I live, and people think that's surprising because I own several properties. I don't.
Oh, that is interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but we love location freedom.
Yeah.
So that's something that is important to us. But it took us a lot of sitting down on the drawing board and going, like personally, I've gone the very traditional route, which is I have a husband and I have a kid and hopefully another one at some point. But I don't want the white picket fence dream. And I thought there was something wrong with me because I didn't want that as the outcome. I still want adventure and travel and and I think sometimes you can become fall into the comparison trap, especially when you're around certain people and go, is this what I'm supposed to have?
Is this what success is?
Yeah.
I should do that.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
It doesn't have to be if that's not what it is for you.
Yeah. And it's so easy to get into that. I think you can, especially with like social media and things, it's very, like they talk about who you surround yourself with, but that means like visually on your phone. Like it's not
As
just,
well.
I think people don't really, that probably pays more attention to that because that's where you're spending all of your time. I think people think, oh, I need to get rid of all my friends and everything. And I definitely, when I was in the online industry, like, and saying I was in like masterminds and coachings, I definitely fell into that trap of like, well, like, I have to get rid of everyone and not speak to anyone in real life and like be around all these people. And I'm like, but you can also be around the wrong people that are making money as well, because
Mhm.
I was in a program and I was around people that were making money, and it wasn't how I wanted to make money. It wasn't like the way I wanted to do it, and it didn't align with my values and who I am. So like I could have fell into that trap and started doing things that I didn't want to do just because you see the numbers and you see everything happening. But I had to take a huge step back and be like, this is not what I want for my life. Like, this is, yeah, I know I'll be successful and I'll be able to make money and I've got a plan, but I don't necessarily want to, like, if that's going to be a risk of not time with my family, or it's going to risk my health, or, you know, it's going to risk my fulfillment and what I want to do, then I don't want that. So, I don't need that amount of money either to live the life I want to live. Like I just, there's a certain amount that would be good once, mostly for like travel or going on holidays and things like that, and eating well, things, but it's not like multi-million pounds a year, you know, like you don't need, at this point, maybe like when the kids are grown up and everything, I'll be like doing more things, but I think you need to look at where you are in your life right now and be like, what do I really want right now in this era of my life? If you've got kids, or maybe you want kids, or maybe you want to travel, or whatever it is your goal is, I really look at your values and be like, is this in alignment, or
Yeah.
am I just getting caught up?
Oh my gosh, 100%.
Wow, I can really just relate to everything like
Yeah.
you're saying, because I've gone through this in my head.
Yes.
So because I know you got to get the kids soon. I really don't want to make you late. Shall we wrap up with your top tips for entrepreneurs who may have or have symptoms of ADHD to improve their productivity and focus towards their goals?
Well, I would say, and that's probably one that, yeah, people that don't want to hear this one, but 100% like sort out your gut health, because, and I'm not saying like gut health is if you've got like an issue, but eat well for it, because that is really feeding your brain every day. So that is your energy management throughout your day. So the top tips for that, that's quite simple and easy, would be, and definitely have a matcha in the morning. If you can have matcha, you can make it nice, add a bit of honey, add maple. Honestly, it's got something called L-theanine in it. So it's like an amino acid that relaxes your brain. So it's really good for anxiety. It's not just like a smoothie. Do you know what it's literally got? Polyphenols, antioxidants. It's got like so many things that are good for this type of brain. Like really, really good. It can help so much. So definitely say add that into your morning routine. Eating high protein foods, because protein's obviously again really good for that type of brain, and protein is just good in general for energy management. The biggest tip I'd say is don't have a sugary breakfast, because that's what I was having for years, was like having sugar in the morning, whether that's granola or even like a lot of fruit or just cereal. Some people eat cereal, like just things like that. Like it can really, really give you that lull in the afternoon. So having like a non-sugary breakfast, even if you have the sugar after the breakfast, like if you have a wee treat or more fruit, have fruit or a little treat after the meal, it's fine. But this made a huge difference to me for energy management, huge difference. So like just whatever, like I'd have maybe like eggs or halloumi, or protein pancakes, which I make with Greek yogurt. So Greek yogurt and egg and gluten-free flour, and yeah, some,
So like start with savory, go with sweet.
yeah, just that, yeah, and then some berries, like, but not like really sweet fruit, like on an empty stomach, or sweet anything sugary on an empty stomach. It's very up and down for your blood sugar
What about
levels.
for ADHD and coffee consumption?
So everyone's different with that. Like they say, like because of the caffeine, some people with ADHD actually do okay with coffee. And so I think this is a very personalized one, but I think it can be very up and down for your brain. Like it's not very good for that long term kind of. Maybe if you want like a lot of people that have ADHD actually have caffeine and they don't feel anything. So yeah, I think that's definitely more of I think I would reflect on how you feel after drinking it rather than giving advice. But I would definitely say matcha is so good for everyone. So, and I think if you are going to have coffee in general for anyone, it's not good on an empty stomach either. So
Yeah.
having that after the protein is good. Yeah, so I think that's such a huge tip as like management of like even if you just done your breakfast and had a matcha, you'd notice a difference. So that's definitely good. I would say like planning your day is really, really good. Like if it's either the night before or you get up early and it's the first thing you do, like write out a plan, because if you don't have a plan, you're just gonna be scrambling about for the whole day
Yeah, that's a
and
good
getting
point.
distracted all the time.
Yeah, and then you can end up just having a way too big of a to-do list.
Yes. I don't write to-do lists at all. Like I have no to-do lists anywhere because they just don't work for me. And again, it just depends on the person, but it really overwhelms me having a to-do list. So I just don't. I think if it's important enough, I'll pop back in my head or it'll come up again. But I prefer to I do quite like time blocking. Like time blocking is good on my Google Calendar with different colors. I think timers are the best for me. Like I definitely think if I've got a timer and I can see the timer, I prefer like the phone timer because I can see every second, like counting down, and I just click on it. So it's like a big circle on my screen and I have it on Do Not Disturb. But I can then see how long I've got and then I'll do it even more. It's like I'm fighting,
That's a
like
good point.
challenging myself.
Yeah. You have to zone in because you got to.
Yeah, I'm like, I've still got 2 minutes left, and it's such a good like dopamine hit. So I think obviously because we lack dopamine, like we don't have that natural source of dopamine. It's about finding healthy dopamine hits throughout the day rather than reverting to like bad food and sugar and
Ritual, yeah.
you know, like all of the negative sides like of where you get dopamine from. And using it, like I get dopamine from like watching YouTube videos or listening to podcasts or creating a video, or you know I'll still have like I usually dark chocolate because I have got a sweet tooth, so I'll have a bit of dark chocolate. um yeah, no, not saying like completely don't have anything, but find your healthy dopamine, like find out what actually gives you that's a good way of getting it rather than yeah, like a lot of people fall in the trap of that unhealthy dopamine hits, like whether that's alcohol or, you know, drugs or I mean it's a bit extreme, but some people like will go to that way of getting dopamine, or maybe binging something for too long that isn't really helping them, like isn't helping them grow. A lot of people will go to like risk taking or doing things like that just to kind of get it, but there's also a healthy way to do that as well, like you know, like strategic risk taking or yeah, I think like just finding that where your healthy dopamine comes from is
And being
really
mindful of it
important.
and understanding what works for you. I think that's a really important lesson because it just might not work for someone else.
Yeah. And just the last thing I'd say is do a lot of self-reflection. Like I think self-reflection is just such an underrated thing. Like a lot of the time we're going forward and we're going forward and we're going forward and we're like, what's the next thing? And we don't reflect on how we felt, like whether it's eating something, whether it's doing a specific task, whether it's making a decision in your business, like we don't reflect, like, well, what did that feel good? Like, how did I feel after that? You don't always have to journal. You can spend like a bit of time in the morning just writing out your thoughts, but you can also just do it in your head and think like, I always do it like consciously all the time. Like if I ate something different that I don't usually eat, I will think, how did I feel after that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just like takes a second to think, but it's just like getting into that habit of reflecting everything that you're doing so that you're self-aware, so that you're constantly in awareness, even though that you're going forward with ideas, even though you have a million ideas, you can still self-reflect as well.
I think that's such a good point. Even when it comes to business, like not just what you ingest or how you feel after certain exercise, like that's just checking in with yourself and knowing if something's actually aligning with you or not.
Yeah, 100%.
So Zoe's also got a podcast. Do you want to share about your podcast?
Yeah, so the podcast is called The Fearless Female. I actually do interviews with a lot of different people. It's usually creatives or entrepreneurs, just to kind of find out their tips and insights, because obviously it's good to hear from other people. And I'm launching the new YouTube, which is going to be Simple Rich Life, which if you're interested in specifically for ADHD content and like that kind of, yeah, feeling of like, if you're feeling all of these things, then it's going to be a lot of my thoughts of the things that I do. There's going to be a lot of like way more like habits and routines and kind of just way that I'm kind of managing it myself personally and how it works for me, but in a more visual kind of way, like a filmmaking type of way that I'm creating. It's not obviously out yet, but it's launched on the 1st of January. So I think like,
exciting.
yeah, I'm filming in December. So like I think people will really, really like that type of content when it comes out. But yeah, just like my Instagram, Zoe McKenna. So like everything goes kind of through there. It's kind of like my little website page that I when I'm releasing anything, 'cause I'm in this transition of reinvention just now. So I'm looking forward to the
And
next.
you're launching your course as well.
Yeah, I'm launching that in January. So I'm just gathering all the information, which is really exciting to hear what people need and what people want, and that there is a huge need for it. And I'm excited because it's something that I wish I had, and I suppose that's where your best business ideas come from. But that's going to be in January, and I think January is just quite. And I know it's like this new year, but I think you just feel fresh in January, and you feel like this is like a good start. But it's to keep that momentum up and just keep with that focus and staying on track with your goal.
I'm going to add all those links down in the show notes below. So that you can find Zoe and just see, like, I'm really excited to see your journey and what you do next and how it's all going to evolve.
We really feel that what you're doing is really a needed space. It's something that's actually really, really needed, especially for business owners with ADHD. And now that so much light has come of the research showing that it's quite
a high statistic.
You're kind of in the right time.
Yeah,
I really believe that.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited, and I'm mostly excited about being with other people that are the same and just feeling like I'm not like this strange human that is just really crazy all the time. To build that community together, because it's just so nice. Like even when I was chatting to you like on the call before, it's just nice to know that other people feel the same, and I think that's all people want, is just to kind of feel connected, and feel like they're the same as somebody else.
Yeah, feel the same and put language to it where you can connect with other people.
It was a relief, a little like a weird relief feeling at the way I think. I thought it was just me that was like that, and that's just how I am. But it's nice to know that there's other people who also have the same symptoms as well. Yeah. Well, okay. Everyone follow Zoe. She's just an entrepreneur. She's done so much. Like it's amazing, and
she has enough years of wisdom to really, really be able to help. Really be able to help, especially if you're starting on your journey in business and you've got all these thoughts and you.
So for support on your journey, she's full of well-being, lifestyle hacks to support you. Yeah, and we're looking forward to our next conversation and another one soon.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I'll be coming to you for the commercial property advice. Thanks you. Thank you for having me. So stay on.